Hello, and welcome to our discussion about future of energy management. Today, I am joined by Sebastian, a fellow team member from Tietoevry Create. Together, we have developed an innovative solution of how to make use of IoT data across different sectors. Thank you for being here, Sebastian.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Also, very happy to share our insights regarding how we're unlocking the potentials of IT data.
Okay, Sebastian, start by telling us what the organization needs to do and what challenges do they have when they try to get insight of their IoT data.
Sure. So organizations tend to collect a huge amount of IoT data. This is often stored in complex systems. This, in turn, usually requires technical personnel to actually get to that data. So you might require some data scientists or something like that to actually get to the data. This makes it much more difficult for key stakeholders actually to use the data and act upon it more in a quick and efficient manner.
Okay, but then how does Tietoevry Create tackle these challenges?
Yeah, so we try to take a use case centric approach. Where we start by defining clear goals and also setting up like what success actually looks like. And this is so we know that we're heading in the right direction. Essentially, what we try to do is try to connect the dots between like what are the business needs and what the technology actually can do for us in this case.
Okay, but then how does the solution benefit the people that might not have the technical expertise?
Well, for this part, the idea was to make it really easy for non-technical personnel to actually interact with the IoT data.
Okay,
so they don't need to use intermediaries like data scientists to get the data and actually act upon it.
But can you take us through the implementation process now?
Sure thing. What we did was we set up a conversational wind park analytics system that uses GraphDB and Graphwise talk to graph.
Okay.
This lets the users interact with the IoT data directly. So we use GraphDB in this case actually to create a semantic relationship for the data. As in setting up a graph. And the graph structure makes it is very valuable because it makes it much more easy for the conversational AI to actually understand the context that the data is in.
This sounds really cool. Can you show us an example then?
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look then.
So, this is the chat interface that is integrated with Graphwise Talk to Graph API. We can pose a question in natural language. For example, can you give me the average power output for the turbines in Bergen the last 7 days? The user query is sent to the chat assistant. It determines that it needs more context and relays the query to the Talk to Graph assistant. Talk to Graph generates a suitable Sparkle query to retrieve the context mapping from GraphDB. In this case, the relevant power sensors for the turbines located near Bergen. The assistant then uses that mapping to generate a time series query to fetch the IoT data, and finally summarizes the response before returning it to the user. In this interface, it also returns the generated Sparkle and time series queries for a reference. And here we have the information we were asking for, the average power output for each turbine, along with the respective ID. From here, the user can either choose to interact further with the retrieved data, such as plotting it, or simply ask a new question.
Wow, this is very impressive, Sebastian. But then, as we conclude, can you tell us what organizations should focus on when leveraging IoT data?
Yeah, sure. So we try to, as we said, we try to encourage organizations to start out by setting up clear goals and define the challenges they have and also what success actually means to them.
Okay.
From there, the idea here is that we want to help. The goal is to actually help the users that are non-technical actually to get insights easy from complex IT data. Using tools like GraphDB and generative AI here can really help unlock the potentials for the data in that sense. So,
perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Sebastian, today with us.
Thank you.
So, if you want to get most out of your IoT data, and consider starting with focusing on your specific goal and needs. And then that is your road to success. Thank you very much for joining us today.